welcome to Pep Talks. It's going to be a bit different today. I'm shooting this from the Addis Ababa airport in Ethiopia, and I just got here on my way to Lusaka in Zambia, and just before boarding the plane in Accra, I spoke to a young lady who was getting on board, and I asked, "Where are you going to?" And she said, "Saudi Arabia." I said, "Why? Why Saudi Arabia? What are you going to do?" And she said, "I am going to hustle. I am going to hustle." She had no doubt at all that she was going to slug it out in a foreign land to be able to make ends meet. Why must this be so? I think that Ethiopia is one of the places I'm very proud of. Ethiopia Airlines in particular, they've done so well. I mean, it's a huge hub. They have about 100 aircrafts in their fleet, and they call themselves the new spirit of Africa. And I really do pray that that becomes characteristic of us, the new spirit of Africa, moving forward, be entrepreneurial. And we pray that the things like in the Tigray region, things that are not going well, will be smoothened in Ethiopia. But the general feel across the African continent is that democracy has failed us. I was recently on Joy FM in Accra, where we had a discussion, myself and two professors, about the latest Afrobarometer report that shows that quite a significant number of Africans, and especially the young guys, the Gen Z, have dropped in the disfavorableness of military interventions and military rule. In fact, most people don't mind and are even open to military intervention and military rule because democracy has just not delivered. If you look at the social contract, and the fact that politics is supposed to deliver A, B, C, D, we are coming to realize that democracy is not an end in itself. Democracy is a vehicle to deploy certain goods and services, to deploy certain values, and it's not happening all across the continent. You've seen the rioting, the demonstrations in Kenya. We are also seeing things happening like that in Gambia. There are notices going around that something's going to happen in Nigeria in the beginning of August, and in September in Ghana. And I think this current crop of leaders, we really need to wake up and ask ourselves whether we are delivering, right? Because democracy can bring people to the table, but it doesn't guarantee food on the table. It's time to re-examine, and I think nobody can do that work for us as Africans. We need to look at democracy and ask how can it work? Even America, that's supposed to be the doyen of democracy, doesn't do it the way we are trying to do it in many parts of Africa. I mean, for example, the popular vote is not what determines who becomes president. It's the electoral college. That's a different kind of democracy, right? People are complaining about democracy in Rwanda, saying that this is not real democracy. Well, it seems to be working for them, right? We need to find out, every one of us, what will work for us. So thank you for listening, and let's begin to, by the way, there are 3 binding constraints that some of us have come up with, those of us who are part of a group that wants to see the Ghana we want, the Africa we want, because we're just about to enter the second 25 years of this century, and we've got to do better than we've done in the first 25, and for Ghana, do better than we've done in the last 30 years of having, the Fourth Republic. 3 binding constraints we found, 3 things that have to do, that we can do nothing profitably without, some constitutional amendments, some real overhaul of we're not talking about an overthrow of the Constitution, but an overhaul of the Constitution. The second thing is really having long-term planning. Governments come and change everything the other previous government did because there's no real long-term development planning. And the third thing is really having a long-term sustainable way to do our budgeting and our financing of our economy and of our democracy, because every year we're in deficit, and then of course it balloons in election years. So these are thoughts going through my mind even as I travel across Africa, and I pray that we arise, that true leaders arise to shift things so that our democracy delivers. Otherwise, I'm afraid we're in trouble. But managers can keep things going. It's true leaders that are able to shift course, chart the course, change things. May true leaders like you arise in Africa. Take care.